welcome to the channel. If you like stories where humanity refuses to kneel, subscribe and stay with us. Let's begin. The silence at dawn was not theirs. 1,000 nights of siege, 1,000 suns bled out behind the shield wall. And still, the humans breathed. Look down there, the last city on Terra Nova. Cracked open like a skull, orbital lances carve molten scars across the horizon. The Vayari Empire's flagship, Eternal Dominion, hangs above the clouds, its shadow swallowing continents. They called us Vermin Primitive fleeting. They were wrong. The bombardment stopped at V500, not mercy, never mercy. Just the Vayari, needing silence to count the bodies. Commander Kale Voss stood on the parapet of Bastion 9, face caked in ash, blood crusted in the scar that ran from temple to jaw. Below him, the trench lines were graves with living occupants. A child's shoe floated in a puddle of coolant. No one moved to retrieve it. Across the void, High Strategos Vael'Tharan watched through a holofeed. Tentacles coiled in amusement. "Observe," he purred to his bridge crew. "They cling to rubble, they pray to dead gods. In 3 cycles, we will glass the planet and be done." Kale didn't pray, he counted. Ammo, water, heartbeats. His second, Lieutenant Mara Ruiz, limped up the stairs. "Prosthetic leg sparking. Sir, the Coalition's pulling out, the Keth are abandoning the flank. Say we're contagious." Kale's laugh was a dry rasp. Contagious, he spat blood. Good. Night fell like a guillotine. Vayari drop pods screamed down, blooming into mechanized legions. Their armor drank light. Their voices were choral, perfect, cruel. "Surrender. Primates, your extinction is a footnote." Kale's response was a single. Flare into the sky, green dot not. Surrender. A signal. The first Vayari wave hit the minefield. Not Mine's children's toys remote detonated. Packed with scavenged plasma cells, the explosion chain walked the valley like a living thing, alien. Screams harmonized for the first time with human cheers. But the second wave came, then the third. By midnight, Bastion 9 was an abattoir. Kyle dragged a dying Marine into the medbay. Hands slick with someone else's intestines. The Marine whispered, "Tell my sister. Tell her I kept the line." Kale closed the boy's eyes. He didn't promise. Promises were currency they'd spent long ago. In the command bunker, the Coalition feed crackled. The Keth envoy, a towering insectoid, hissed through translators. "Humanity's defiance is statistically anomalous. We withdraw support. Your species courts extinction." Mara slammed the console. "Let them run. We never needed their permission to bleed." Kyle stared at the tactical map. Red icons swarmed. One blue dot pulsed. Bastion 9, he zoomed. Out the planet was a graveyard of blue. Dots all gone. He zoomed further. The Vayari fleet, hundreds. Ships, one anomaly. A single frigate. The Broken Promise drifting in high orbit. Transponder dark. Kale's scar twitched. He knew that ship, human registry, MIA for 6 years. He keyed the mic. "Promise, this is Bastion 9. You out there?" Static, then a voice, female, cracked with disuse. "Bastion, you're still breathing?" Kale closed his eyes. "Define breathing." The voice laughed. "Bitter, we've got a gift, but it's not free." The feed cut above. The Eternal Dominion powered. Weapons. Vael'Tharan leaned forward, and the orbital lance fired, but the beam never reached the surface. Something intercepted it, a silhouette against the stars. The Broken Promise flaring shields, taking the hit meant for a dying world. The explosion lit the sky white. Kale watched the debris rain. Mara whispered, "What the hell was that?" Kale's answer was quiet. Hope, the kind that burns, dawn again. But not the same. The Broken Promise was gone, but its sacrifice bought 12 hours. Vayari command was unsettled. Their perfect calculus now had a variable. In the wreckage of low orbit, escape pods tumbled. One slammed into the ruins outside Bastion 9. The hatch blew. A woman crawled out. Captain Alara Kane. Once human, now something else. Her eyes glowed faint blue, veins laced with alien biotech. Kyle met her in the ash. She saluted with a hand that ended in claws. Reporting for duty. Sir. He didn't ask what they'd done to her. He saw the answer in the way she flinched from sunlight. Inside the bunker, the Coalition remnants watched via drone. The Keth envoy chittered. Abomination, she is no longer your kind, Mara snarled. She's more human than you'll ever. Alara laid a data spike on the table. Coordinates Vayari. Supply nexus hidden in the nebula. They think we can't reach it. Kale studied the map. It was suicide. One-way trip through a radiation storm, past 3 picket fleets. To a fortified depot, he nodded. Packlight, they left at dusk. A stolen Vayari shuttle, piloted by a turncoat drone named Click, a spider-like mech that had developed pinions. The journey was silence and pain. Alara's implants bled. Mara's legs seized. Kale counted heartbeats again. They breached the nebula. Radiation cooked the hull. Click's voice crackled. Probability of survival, 4.7%, rounding down. Kale smiled. Round up, they emerged into hell. The supply nexus was a Dyson ring of munitions, guarded by automated dreadnoughts. Vayari efficiency, no crew, no mercy. Alara jacked into the shuttle's systems. Her eyes rolled white. I can sing to them, make them forget we exist. Mara grabbed her wrist. Will it kill you? Alara's smile was tragic. Everything kills me now, she sang, not with voice, with code, with pain. The dreadnoughts turned away, confused like wolves forgetting the scent of blood. They docked. The Gi depot was a cathedral of weapons, enough to end worlds, Kyle. Planted charges, not to destroy, to steal, but Click. Froze. Alert incoming signature Vayari Elite Guard. They evolved the firewall. They felt her song. The depot's lights died. Emergency red. Alara collapsed. Blood pouring from nose and ears. They're coming for me. Mara dragged her toward the shuttle. Kale finished the timer. Seconds. The first elite entered. Not Vayari, something worse, a hybrid, tentacles fused with human. Bone eyes like black stars. It spoke with Vaeltheran's voice. Captain Kane, you were our masterpiece. Come home, Alara screamed. Not fear, rage. She lunged. Claws. Metalloy. The hybrid laughed. Kyle fired. The shot ricocheted. Click detonated. Early, the depot shuddered. And the shuttle tore free as the ring began to fold in on itself, a collapsing halo of fire behind them. The hybrid floated in the void, unharmed, watching. The shuttle limped back to Terra Nova. Alara was unconscious. Mara's hands shook. Kyle stared at the stolen munitions. Enough to fight, not enough to win. The comms crackled. Vaeltheran's voice for the first time, uncertain. You have taken something that was not yours. Return it, or we will unmake your species. Atom by atom. Kale's reply was soft. Come and try. The line went dead. But in the silence, something else stirred. A signal, old human from beneath the planet's crust. A voice, recorded centuries ago. This is Dr. Elias Voss, if you're hearing this. The vault is open and God help us all. Kale's scar burned. Voss. His name. His blood. The vault was a myth. A pre-collapse bunker. Built when humanity first reached the stars. Sealed after the Silence War. Contents unknown. Kyle led the descent. Alara. Barely conscious, guided by instinct. Mara, Click. And a dozen survivors, faces gaunt, eyes hollow. The planet shook. Vayari were coming. Not siege, extermination. They breached the vault at dawn, doors older than nation's diarist scanners long. Dead. Ilara pressed her palm to the panel. Her implants flared. The doors screamed open. Inside was darkness and cold rows of pods, thousands humans. Suspended, not dead, not alive. Kale's breath fogged. What is this? Ilara whispered. The first wave, the ones who never woke. At the far end, a console, a single message looped. Project Abyss for when the stars forget mercy. Kale activated it. The pods opened. The sleepers gasped awake. Not soldiers, civilians, artists, children, eyes filled with terror. One stepped forward. A girl, maybe 16. She looked at Kale's scar. You're him, the one from the stories. Kale knelt. What stories? That we'd be needed when the monsters came. Behind them, the ceiling buckled. Veari, breaching charges. Mara raised her rifle. We can't fight with civilians. Kyle looked at the girl, then at the pods, then at the console. He understood. The vault wasn't a bunker, it was a weapon. He initiated the protocol. The sleepers didn't scream. They stood silent, determined. Ilara smiled through blood. They were never meant to hide. They were the counter-virus. The Veari poured. Hybrid Zod elites, Veiltheron himself. In a towering exosuit, he raised a hand. Enough, your species ends. The sleepers moved, not with weapons, with will. They walked forward, unarmed, unafraid. The hybrids hesitated. Something in their programming glitched. The girl reached Veiltheron. She touched his armor, whispered, "You forgot, we taught you." Fear. The exosuit sparked. Veiltheron screamed. The sleepers weren't human anymore. They were the memory of every world burned, every child lost, every dawn stolen. They were vengeance, given form. Kale watched as the Veari lines broke, not from bullets, from dread. Mara grabbed his arm. We have to go. The vault's collapsing. They ran up through fire and falling stone. Behind them, the sleepers held the line, not with strength, with refusal. The surface was chaos. Veari ships fell from the sky, pilots weeping in tongues they didn't know. Kyle stood on the parapet again, the same place. 1,000 nights later. The Eternal Dominion burned in orbit. Veiltheron's voice. One last time, broken. What are you? Kyle looked at the horizon, at the survivors emerging from rubble, at Ilara, dying but smiling, at Mara, weeping without shame. He answered, "We are the silence at dawn, and it is ours." Everyone else saw weakness. Humanity saw a reason to fight harder. Thanks for watching.